Guten Tag to all the urbanists out there. I'm Ariel, and today we're going to explore beautiful city of Munich, which is the capital of the southern region of Germany known as Bavaria. Of course, it has a different name in German, just like Munich. Munich is München around there in German, and then Bavaria is Bayern. Let's explore right now area that's about maybe a 15-minute walk away from the old town center of Munich. We're maybe a little bit longer to Marienplatz, which is the more famous area. And this is supposed to be the more hipper area here in Munich. Hopefully we'll bump into a map so I can show you. Let me know where you're watching from, and I am so excited to partake in a old German tradition that's called it's called along the lines of German fitness walking. That would be the translation in English. So every Sunday the Germans like to do their walks along the city, or it could be along a hiking trail if they're living a little bit further away from the city. And it would generally be about 6.2 miles long. That was the challenge that they partake every single Sunday. So let's do that type of German fitness walking. If you're from Germany, remind me of what the word is. It's a very fascinating word. It starts with Volks, which means people. Hello, Colleen. Hello, Melody. Hello, Henry. Hello, Bad Jokes Are Free says, you're watching from Philly. Hello, Beyond the Matrix. Watching from North Carolina. Nice to see you here. I just saw the beautiful church at night on your short videos. I was just seeing, yeah. Watch my Instagram stories. I covered a gorgeous church at night. Ellen, watching from Connecticut. Welcome. Nice to see you here. Hey, Mika says, Group Goats. Service. Mika, thank you so much for tuning in. Nicole, nice to see you here. Hello, Ben. Greetings. Watching this around 30 minutes with the train away from where you're at. Ben, oh, Ben, you're nearby. Nice. Any recommendations for this area? I gotta find the name of this area. Very hard to pronounce. Let's see. It's the main area of the square. There we go. Gartnersplatz. 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 Henry says, you'd be a great host for a TV show on the Travel Channel. Hey, I would appreciate that. Yeah, thank you so much. I would love to work with the Travel Channel. Wow, look at that. On top of this apartment building, there's a basketball court. That's fascinating. First time I've ever seen that. Ed, welcome. Hello, Angel. Hello, Ellen. Nice to see you here. Hey, Brian says, eat some German food. Yeah, I've covered a little bit of German food. Be sure to follow me on my Instagram stories. And I showed a little bit on my walk around Marienplatz back in Thursday. So you can rewatch that live video. If we bump into some easy to grab German food, then I might try something on camera. So we're doing the Volksmarsch, which is the tradition of German strolling on a Sunday. You have to get to around 6.2 miles. I think we'll easily get there just by even strolling here during this live video. And yeah, it's a normal tradition to do every single Sunday for the Germans. That's what I just heard. It may be the city or the countryside or the woods or some mountain hiking trails. That's what you do every Sunday. A lot of stuff is closed, so it's emptier than usual. So let's see what we can find on Munich on the Sunday. Here's one of the main roundabouts. Deborah says that's the healthy thing to do, the Volksmarsch, yeah. Karen says Germans drive on the right. Yeah, I think it's only UK and Ireland that drives on the other side. Here in Europe, I'm not sure if there's another part of Europe where they drive the same direction as the UK and Ireland. Here we are. So this is Gartnersplatz. This is like this should be like the village area of Munich. It's supposed to be younger people, more cafes. Justine says Aussies drive on the right. Yeah, Australia is another country like the UK. Hello, MZ. Hello, Colleen. Hello, Joe. Joe says he's having internet problems. Oh, help get that fixed, Joe. Volksmarsch. Yes, we're doing the Volksmarsch, Thorsten. Now, tradition states that after you finish these 6.2 miles, you reward yourself, or 6 point something miles, you reward yourself with a nice, ice cool lager. So let's see if we can find one. Angel says, must feel incredible to travel the world. Is that theater on your left? I think it is, yeah. Biking and scootering must be a breeze here. You know, I haven't scootered or biked, but yes, I can imagine it must be a breeze. There's less traffic, so it's not quite as hectic. Drivers here go slow, so it's very nice. Gorgeous buildings here. I love it. All right, so let's go up this street right over here. Hey, Amy says, what's the temperature today? Chilly, like 53 degrees Fahrenheit or so. Or the attractions. I'm not sure if we're gonna see any major ones on this walk. A lot of the attractions are mostly centered around the Old Town, which we visited the past few days, around Marienplatz, which is the main square. Now, of course, there's probably a few other attractions outside. There's like the huge palace, and there is the huge English gardens, which we only covered a fraction of yesterday. There was a lot more. Susie says, weather envy. Yeah, it's so chilly here. I needed to use a jacket. Wow. This is exactly the bookstore I needed, but it's closed. It's Sunday. I'll come back here. Kay says, we've had fantastic weather in Ireland. It has been bright and sunny and clear and warm. Beer has been given free to all who come in Ireland. That's amazing. Deborah says, stores closed on Sunday here? Yeah, a lot of stores. Oh my God, we have a dive bar. Wow, American style dive bar here in Munich. Look at that. Yep, I feel like I'm in Bushwick just looking at this. I should not wear these, otherwise I will look like the villain from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. So yeah, most things are closed today. Stores, even grocery stores, even supermarkets are closed. So don't do your grocery shopping today. Otherwise you might have to go to some type of restaurant or cafe to get a bottle of water. And I see a few cafes open, but not that many. So a lot of things are closed indeed. Alexander says, I missed the sounds of New York traffic. New York traffic is very, very loud indeed. Do they do Sunday brunch in Munich, says Deborah. I don't get that vibe. I passed by a few brunch places earlier, so it seems like younger folks go brunching, but I don't get the vibe that people older do brunching. So we have a bakery open, but it's now closing at this time. Hey, how you good? Just hello to a lovely couple I met in a cafe earlier. Just passed by them. Axel's tuning in from Astoria, Queens. Welcome, Axel. Nice to see you here. Adam says, do Germans have a blue law? Something like New Jersey. What is the New Jersey blue law? Do let me know, Adam. Ronald says, I think I saw Susie inside the dive bar. Yeah, that dive bar is straight from Bushwick. Looks exactly like the dive bars you'll encounter all around Bushwick as you're walking around. Oh, Cindy says, I like it when they call blue laws. Blue laws is when they close on Sundays. So I'm under the impression that there were certain regulations by law for closing on Sundays. I'm not sure if that's the case right now by law, but it seems like a lot of people partake in it. So that's why a lot of these shops are closed and most of the bars and cafes are closed. So just get ready. Germany, you won't be able to do too much on the Sunday, aside from maybe museums, because apparently museums are only €1 on Sunday, which is great news. So there's at least something to do. And Deborah left a $10 super chat. Hey, thank you so much. Deborah says, for the lager at the end of this Volksmarch, as we enjoy a lager. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. If there is a lager, I wonder where do the Germans have their lager at the end of the Volksmarch on the Sunday? Let me know. I'm very curious. I'm glad we have quite a few Germans that tune in. Vlad says, good to catch you live. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Vlad. I appreciate you watching. Ooh, here's a glasses store. Look at these. I love them. Wow. Great style. Coffee Bean Babe says, Guten Tag. Grüß Gott. Grüß Gott is how I say it. So Guten Tag is the main German way of saying it, but for the Bavarian dialect, a lot of people recommend me to say Grüß Gott, something along those lines, or Servus, which means like hi. Viggy with the $5 super chat. I've been watching your UK, Ireland videos to help plan a trip that you're making. That's awesome. Thank you for all the great information you put in your videos. Hey, I'm so glad you could use my videos practically. You know, the nature of my videos, at least live videos, I'm just wandering around, so nothing is really planned. So I'm glad you can get some practical information from my wanderings, in essence. That's awesome to hear. And I hope you have an amazing trip to Germany in the UK soon. All right, we're coming across the market, but I think the market is going to be closed. Bob says Sundays are usually very quiet in Germany. It can seem as if nothing is open. No one's doing any housework. It seems like few people are walking about outside. Oh, really? Even housework is not common on the Sunday. That's fascinating. So it's truly a day for relaxation or a light stroll of 6 miles. Christine says most restaurants don't open until 5 p.m. on Sundays. I think many families eat lunch together on a Sunday because many don't have work. They eat lunch at home together, okay, on a Sunday, but some restaurants are open at 5. That's great to hear. Do you think of going to other German cities? No, not this trip. I only booked for a week of other work commitments that I have to go back to. But I'm very grateful. I've been having a lot of work commitments for this upcoming like 2 months, that then I'll be able to do long-term travel again. So business has been very fruitful. I've been so lucky and privileged. And I just feel extremely grateful for all the sponsorships I've had. So if you enjoy my videos, do watch my latest sponsored videos. I have one by Beachbound, where it's a app that you can use to find the perfect beach vacation, which I might use very soon. And then DKNY, they asked me what was my favorite hidden gem in the city. I told them my favorite little tiny hidden gem is actually the Cathedral St. John the Divine, one of the largest cathedrals in the entire world. And that was a nice video. So I've had the pleasure of doing a few great sponsorship videos. And I've also been sponsored by the New York City Football Club, which I'll be doing more videos of very soon. So here's the maypole. So the maypole traditionally had to be raised by men pulling it up. That has been outlawed in some major areas in Bavaria. It's a Bavarian tradition, including Munich, where now, by law, by regulation, you have to put it up with a crane. So there's no terrible injuries relating to uplifting this gigantic, massive pole. Now, this pole was like the old school way of doing advertising. So all the major businesses would have like their logo, or in essence what they do, on the maypole. Like this guy carrying a bunch of kegs of beer in wooden casks, having all the 7 famous beer breweries here. I've tried so far Augustiner. I showed it on the Instagram story, a Facebook story as well. I have not tried Münchner beer yet. Hacker Shore, not yet. Hofbräuhaus, I've tried it. Lohenbräu, I have not tried it. Polaner, I tried it, I loved it. And Spaten, very commonly found in New York, and I love it, but I haven't tried it here yet. So he says, we did the maypole dance back in elementary school. Oh, that's cool. So the beer garden is closed today. How are you with jet lag? Great question, MZ. Jet lag really only affects me, and just in general, anyone North American traveling to Europe is much easier. Only really affects me the first day, if it does at all. And the reason is because you're going forward in time. So you might just lose a day of sleep, a night of sleep, because you're taking the plane. Otherwise, you're pretty okay. The issue is coming back, because going forward, I see it a little bit easier to adjust, but going back 6 hours to New York feels a little bit more of a bigger adjustment. So usually going back, I find myself sleeping very late, like 3 a.m., because I'm not sleepy yet, and to get used to again. So if you're European visiting New York or any major American city, then do allow for some jet lag adjustment. At least 2 days. Take it slow. One would require a good drink after attempting to pronounce all those names of drinks, says Toilet Brush Salesman. Yeah, the German language is a beautiful language. I love it. Here's another. These guys are from outside the limits, I think. Erdinger. Wow. So there appears to be some type of horse and carriage tour where you also drink and eat pretzels, and that's amazing. Oh, I'll get one of those. Hey, BBH says Berlin. In the future, yeah, I would love to come back to Germany. Right now, this is my only city stop for this trip. So you see the prices are pretty much in line with what you see in New York. Maybe a few dollars less expensive. Debbie says, but konditoren, ooh, similar to the Swedish konditori, konditoren, the cafes, should be open with pastries and coffee. Oh. Oh, Debbie. That changes everything. I would love a good coffee and a pastry. A nice apple strudel, which I've already had copious amounts of, and they are delicious. For people who don't know, apple strudel is similar to an apple pie, except the pastry is much more thinner and there's twice as more apples. Inspire Life says the rainbow stream was amazing at the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. Ron says, will you be kicked out of the restaurant if you ask just for water? No, no, you know, there's the Germans, I've seen, are not too judgmental of what you order at a restaurant. Munich is a pretty touristy city. Americans make up a huge percentage of that tourism. And then also there, aside from Germans, native Germans, one of the bigger populations within Germany are Turkish and people from the Middle East, but a lot of Turkish. So there's a huge part of the population, or a significant part of the population, where they're not drinking alcohol. So I don't think it's too out of the ordinary. Let me know for the German viewers. Unlike in Italy. Italy, you'll be a bit weird if you don't really order a wine with your meal. They'll find it just a bit odd. Do you notice a difference in the pastry butter? Much less butter is used in Inspire Life from what I've noticed here in Germany. Here in Germany, I haven't really gone into too many restaurants or bakeries spontaneously because there's such tough privacy laws here that I don't feel terribly comfortable going into a random restaurant or a pastry shop that is indoors. So if I see one that's outdoors or that's quick and go, then I might go in. Then I might buy something and show you. But yeah, the pastries here, a lot less butter than you'll find in other places, like in Paris, in France in general, or a lot less butter. The most buttery pastries that I've ever tried are in Copenhagen. They just packed those croissants and those danishes with immense pounds of butter, way more than you ever encounter even in America. So here it's a fraction. You don't feel as heavy after eating a good apple strudel in Germany. Also, the use of pastry is a lot less. Ben says, have you been to the Deutsch Museum? No, not yet. I haven't been to any museum. The weather has been too ugly, too much rain to go into a museum. Expert Life says, sounds delish. Yeah, let's see if we can find an apple strudel. Maybe we'll get lucky and there's a nice cafe to go to. Hey, Clement says, no problem. I think Americans might have exaggerated the impression of the beer consumption in Germany. It's definitely a big part of the culture, but so many people don't drink here too. So that is interesting. Yeah, it is a stereotype, similar to the stereotype that Americans also have of the Irish. I think statistically, Germans do drink more beer than Americans, but they don't drink as much beer as the Czech. The people of Czechoslovakia drink a lot more beer. They're number one. I think Germany's number two. I think the US might be number three. But the thing is, I think it's fairly normal here to drink a casual beer, because yesterday I went to a beer hall called Schneider, and right by Marienplatz, and we were sitting right by a group of women that were in their early 80s. There was a group of like 6 of them. They were all drinking pints of beer, all of them, and they're already in their early 80s. And I saw other elderly, for example, just drinking beer. And then the drinking age here is a lot younger, so you see teenage kids casually drinking a beer as well. So it is different from the US, where beer drinking is a bit more of like, you do it at a bar, or you do it at a party, or you do it at a barbecue, but you really don't do it casually for lunch. Not so much. Debbie says, true, the Czechs are at the top of the list. Yeah, Czechs is number one. Wow. So here we have the city walls. I think there might be some cool photos here at the city walls. Oh, I'm so happy that the sun is out. This is amazing. Hey, Christine says, my parents are watching the stream too. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Hello to Christine's parents. Oh wow, this is an entrance to the S-Bahn, ladies and gentlemen. To access the metro, the underground, you can access it right below the city walls, the old medieval city walls. And let me know what this translates to. It's a museum of local curiosities. Well, that's fascinating. Coffee Bean says, are you contributing writer to all those books listed under your video? Coffee Bean, I have books recommended for New York. I don't update them too much for other countries. So no, I'm not contributing a writer to any of those books. Those books I use as my sources, and I recommend them for people to use. All right, it's getting a bit hot. It's fascinating to see that some of this medieval architecture is still surviving to this day. Clement says, yeah, definitely. Beer drinking is much more casual here than the US. but you definitely don't have to order it. That's right. Okay, thank you so much for clarifying, Clemens. Yeah, there's no really social pressure to order alcohol like there might be in other areas. Benzen says, we actually have pretty nice infrastructure in Munich. The trains come late very often when you live outside the city, but the trains within the city are so frequent. It's amazing. So here is the industrial history of Munich, which is amazing. Munich, as I mentioned many times, along with Greater Bavaria, is an economic powerhouse within Europe. Debbie, what area am I in? Right down here is the main town square, old town square, Marienplatz. Further down there, about 5-minute walk. Right here, we are at the city gates. So this was the outer perimeter of the old city of Munich. And we're going to stroll around just a little bit more in this area. Jim says, thank you for the tour. My pleasure, Jim. I'm so happy I could take you on the tour. All right. So I found one of the main pastry shops, main bakery chains here in Munich. Reichart. And it's open, so let's order something. I'm gonna point the camera down, but I'll be back with some pastries. Let's try it out. What's inside? One of these, please. For outside. Yeah. And I'll have an apple strudel. And bottle of water. Let's see. Okay, so we are at rice carts. They're all around the city. They're like one of their chains. It's like the Dunkin' Donuts of Germany, but appears to be even higher quality. So here we have this pastry that seems to be similar to what is cheese Danish, but it has powdered sugar on top. Do let me know if you're German and know the name of this. They had the name listed, but I didn't pay attention. And then this is a classic apple strudel. As you can see, it looks like an apple pie, but the pastry is way thin, very thin, way more apple than you usually find even in an apple pie. And even this pastry is much more thinner than your typical kind of Danish that you would see in the US. All right, so let's try this out. I'm so excited to finally be showing some pastries, which I haven't done so in this entire trip. Debbie says, is it called Blindenstich? Blindenstich. Thank you. All right, Blindenstich. Inspire Life says, wow, what a thick strudel. I found most strudels to be this thick. The US has strudel. They tend to be thinner. I've tried like Hungarian strudels as well. They were a bit thinner. I'm gonna try the strudel first. So the strudel is the classic dessert you'll find here in Germany. Carla says no coffee. I'm not in the mood for coffee at the moment, and the coffee there was machine, so it wasn't really a real espresso coffee. It was just a button coffee machine, which in my opinion is not really worth it. I'd rather go to a different place for coffee. And that's typical in Germany. It's not like Copenhagen or parts of Stockholm or Italy, where you'll generally find an espresso machine or very good quality filter coffee at those cities, or London as well. Not so much here in Germany. You have to go to a specialty coffee shop or to one of those very traditional places where they have great filter coffee. All right, let's try this out. Wow, that is good. Way less sweet than American apple pie. American apple pie is a classic, but sometimes with apple pie they get too exaggerated with the sweetness, with the brown sugar. Way too exaggerated. Here, you taste the natural sweetness of the apples. I don't think they use that much sugar here, because I'm tasting a lot of the apples. And it's just delicious. And I love that the pastry is thin, so the apples mostly speak for themselves. Look at this. Wow, that's so good. Let me know, how do I say wunderbar? Wunderbar. Now let's try this. A few people have said the name. Blinden. Let's see the name again. Beinenstich. 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 It apparently has honey in it. Let's see how it is. Debbie says it's lecker. Oh, just like in Swedish? Wow, German language has a lot of things similar with Swedish and Danish. That's fascinating. No whipped cream? Yeah, they didn't get whipped cream. We're here more of a fast food place. The cafes, they're a little bit challenging to do a live video because They're like closed. They're sit-down restaurants, sit-down cafes where there's table service. So it's not as easy to film. But I think this illustrates the quality here is pretty standout even compared to the traditional cafes. I think this is worth it. This is way better than a chain bakery or chain cafe that you would find in the US. Way better than the pastries you would find in Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts. Let's try this out. What's the medal around your neck, Anita asks? Anita, I'm wearing Our Lady of Guadalupe. The Virgin Mary that was seen in Mexico City many centuries ago, and I covered that video in length. And I bought this particular medallion in Portobello Road in London from two lovely Peruvian women who were selling jewelry. So it captures everything I love. Catholicism, the Mexico City, and London, all wrapped up into one medallion. All right, let me show you the pastry. This pastry is interesting. Isn't strudel the icing? No, apple strudel is this. So this one's a harder pastry. Look at that. Harder. There's some cheese in the middle. A lot more stickier. So I think that's why someone said earlier that it's with honey. Much more stickier, the pastry. And a huge thick piece of cheese right there in the middle. Let me know exactly how to call this cheese. Obviously it's not the cheese that you eat on the cheese plate. It's made with sugar or with milk or dairy of some kind. Look at that. Nicole says this is more of an apple cake than a strudel. What would be the difference? Let me know. Of course, in America, we have a lot of these treats, but we have variations of them. So if you're used to the American variations, you might be wondering why don't they have the drizzle on top. That's more of an American apple strudel that's sold in those boxes made by the Hostess company. All right, let's try this out. Wait. There must be a German word for this. Do let me know. I find it weird, but also super tasty. But it's not weird due to the... Like, there's weird foods out there. Like in Mexico, I tried crickets. I tried crickets, they tasted like chips. They were weird. No, but I mean like a weird, like, something off about this pastry, but it's really good. It's both like, I don't want to have any more, but yes, please give me more. There might be a German word for this because there certainly isn't an English word for it. I don't know why, you know, it tastes like a common cheese Danish. It's just the thing is the cheese itself is so kind of sticky and so chewy way more than I'm used to from a Danish, either from what I tried in Denmark or from the Danishes that you find in America, or also Danishes you find in the UK as well. The cheese there is more creamy. This cheese is more elastic. So it's fascinating. And then the other thing is this pastry, it might have a lot of honey in it or something, is tying it together. So the entire pastry is has more bounciness. It's more al dente than the pastries that you have in other parts of the world. So I quite did not expect that type of texture in this type of pastry. Wow. Whoa. Debbie says it's not cheese. It certainly tastes like cheese. It's not pure almond. Someone said is it almond. It's not almonds. It definitely tastes like cheese. It's cheese. But it might be mixed with something else. MZ says this is hilarious. I'm sorry. MZ, why are you laughing? MZ, why are you laughing? You're laughing at my expense. MZ and everyone tuning in, you're laughing at my expense. So how dare you? So it's not really a pudding. The woman said it's like a pudding. But to me, it tastes way more thicker than pudding. It tastes like one of those drier bread puddings. Yes, in that context, yeah. It tastes like a dry bread pudding. It's a good cheese. It also has some crunch to it. I'm not sure what that crunch is. Definitely have this. This is very unique pastry. It looks normal. It looks like something you've had dozens of times if you're from North America or from Western Europe. This looks like the most common pastry ever, but you gotta try it. It's so odd. I'm gonna have one more piece of this apple strudel. Justine says it's a thick custard. Yeah, kind of. And then here we have the water taken down from the melting glaciers of the Alps. Actually, I'm not sure if it's from glaciers. Let's see. I prefer to believe it's from glaciers, but it's probably just mountain spring water. Though you can find glacier water. Sometimes they have this. Alde Holzener. And there they put all the mineral content. Here in Germany, they have much more stricter regulations for water. So water has to have the mineral content listed. It has to list where it comes from. In America, they're way more laxed about it. So sometimes in America, you find some companies that are basically just tap water put into a bottle. But here, no. If you're buying water, it's good water. Not tap water. Drinking this feels like I've been going through a long day of skiing, and I've been so exhausted by skiing the slopes of Germany in southern Bavaria along the Alps that I crashed down into a pillow of snow, and the snow melts right in my mouth, and I'm satiated by the beautiful waters of the melted snow in the southern slopes of Bavaria. Ah, that's good. The building behind you is a great contrast to your purple sweater. Yeah, Isabel, yeah. And over there, look. What tour is this? I didn't find it. Is this in German? Janet says that's some water. It is, truly. I mean, Germany is also the home of Gerolsteiner, which is a great sparkling water that's also sold in the US. And they're not sponsored. They're not a sponsor yet. says Expire Life. No, they're not sponsored. But that was a hell of an endorsement, isn't it? Take that horse carriage tour. I want to. I tried finding online for different tours. Did not see that. So let me know where I can find information about that horse tour. I think it might be just in German, and that's why I didn't find it easily. All right, I'm gonna have another bite of this apple strudel, and then we'll continue walking. Wow. Ron says, any Einstein history on this trip? I don't know where Einstein grew up in Germany. I gotta look into that history. I'm under the impression it was not in Munich. I think he was from another part of Germany. Maybe in the north. Hyde says, old Audis were great. I drive a Mercedes. Used to drive them as a cab driver. Oh, interesting. Teresa says, happy Mother's Day to your mom. Yeah, they I went with my family for 2 of their 3 legs of their trip. They're now headed off into their 3rd leg of the trip. The Tombster says you have to go to Ulm. Let me know what's in Ulm. I have a dear friend of mine who's based in Ulm. Didn't get the chance to visit him. And Almo says you have to yet to purchase Lederhosen. Joe says, I finally got my internet back. Oh, I'm so glad. The hotel in the back is so cute. Yeah, it is. Amazing. It's amazing, isn't it? I'm in love with this apple strudel. I think I have a little bit more. And the great thing is, apple strudel has some raisins. Christine left a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for sponsoring this beautiful exploration of pastries here in Munich. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for sponsoring. Thank you so much for a $5 super chat. That was great. Wow. So he says, not sure I like raisins in my strudel. You think that, but the raisins that they use is like these golden raisins. They're very soft. They're more creamy than they are kind of that tougher texture of those regular brown raisins. And it's very little. They just put a few sprinkling of raisins. And usually it's on the top layer. Hey, look at this. All right. Tanya says, I wonder what the amount of steps Ariel has done. I don't know, but the requirement for the Volksmarch is 6.2 miles, 6.8 miles, somewhere along those lines. It's a nice looking hotel. Very beautiful. The building Dia says, do you like Illy coffee? I do. Kind of want to see if I can find some German filtered coffee. Or if not, a beer. A huge, gigantic, massive beer. Mira says, got to run. We are known for a great sense of humor here in the UK. Does Germany have a sense of humor? Yes. The Germans are very funny. So the sense of humor here, you know, I haven't had the chance to really talk in depth with a lot of Germans, but it's, so I think I'm getting the gist that jokes are sometimes told very straight-faced, but way more straight-faced than a British person would do or a New Yorker would do, to the point where you really don't know if they're joking or not. I think that's the gist I've gotten so far. Marine says, please go, think of going Isar to the Isar River, crossing the bridge. Okay, let's see. Isar River, okay. Thank you for the recommendation. Let's see where the Isar River is. Debbie says, yeah, sometimes they have to warm to you. Dry humor, but they don't always understand the British black humor. Yes, I get that vibe too. Okay. Oh, check this out. It's a little courtyard. Ooh, more of the city walls. Look at that. Low-key asked for Marienplatz. Today I won't be going through Marienplatz. You can watch my live video from Thursday. I cover Marienplatz extensively, and my live video from yesterday as well. These are very nice apartment buildings. Oh, I like it. Am I going to Berlin? No, not this trip. One day in the future. I need to get oriented. All right. So crossing the streets here. Literally, there's no crosswalk here. So, what do you do, ladies and gentlemen, when you're met with the German Stroads? It's the official name of this type of road. It's not quite a highway. It's not quite a road. It's between a highway and the road. Stroad. A very, very long, wide highway road. So here they don't have usually crosswalks, but they have subways. Not the subway as we know in New York. Whenever you talk about subways outside the city of New York, they mean underground pedestrian ways. But yes, it also connects to the metro system. Here in this case, it's the S-Bahn. To cross over, we have to go underneath to go back up. If you see the escalator, if you need a little bit more accessibility, there's really not too many elevators from what I've seen. Sometimes there are, but generally you will have to take the escalator. There's an escalator that usually works the other direction on the other side. So there's usually like 4 entrances, 2 on one side of the road, 2 on the other side of the road. Each entrance has one escalator has going up, 1 escalator is going down. Cat Ranger says you can run and pray that you don't get hit. Yeah, you can do that. Bathrooms can also be found in a lot of these complexes where it has connections with the underground, with their metro. This is the entrance to the S-Bahn. S-Bahn is the commuter rail, connects to further parts outside of the city. So let's see the schedule right over here. Passes very. It's also very well marked. You can go to the airport too. And look at what we found. Pizza Hut. Who wants to go? Let me know. Two minutes to Pizza Hut. All right. Let's see if Pizza Hut lives up to its name here in Germany. Chris says, this reminds me of the book he recommended a long time ago called Underground Cities. Yeah, that was a great book. That was a few years ago. I'm so glad you enjoyed that. Oh, here's the German tour. Oh, I need to get on one of those. Oh, they did a stop and now they're drinking at a beer hall. Oh. Spencer says you shouldn't graffiti those walls as you go. This is amazing. Okay, that tour looks amazing. I can tell it's German. Everyone there is speaking German. It could be a private tour that maybe a company does. Let me know. Or is it a public tour, but it's only in the German language? That looks kick-ass. Let me know if there's an English version of that for anyone who's from Munich or has come to Munich many times. That looks amazing. And they're going to a beer hall. They just made a stop on their horse and carriage. Hello, hello, hello. Is anyone out there? Out there, out there. Susie says, not one iota of trash. Oh yes, you can lick these streets. It's that clean. Please don't do any licking on streets. It's just a matter of expression. Low key, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. These kids are doing the Volks March. They got their hiking gear to hike through the city. Wow. Silence. Wendy says that she saw an engagement ring there. Yeah, there was a few of them. All right, I found my ride right here. Or should I take this one? A Kawasaki. Kate says a bit too quiet for me. Don't come to Germany on the Sunday then. Michelle says, will you be going to Austria or the Swiss Alps? I don't think I'll have enough time to go to either. This trip I'm leaving in 2 days, so not so much time. I came here for only a week. I think if you want to enjoy more of the surroundings of Bavaria, it might be worth staying in Munich for a little bit more than a week. Isabel says, it's so sad to see the streets of the US with trash. Yeah, people defecating in the streets as well. It's so sad that happens in the US now. and it's legal. Great to relax with the constant hustle and bustle of the central city life. Yeah, I mean, I think in Germany, just in general, streets are empty on Sundays. Das Boss says you have to visit Rottweil, where you're in Germany. What is Rottweil? Is that where the Rottweilers come from? The infamous dogs. Wendy says, please don't go back to New York. Wow, this is a nice church. Good morning from New Jersey, says Ella. Hey. Isabel says, I like these kind of walks. Not too many people to bump into. Yeah, it's nice if you enjoy some solitude. Joe says it's illegal to now defecate in the streets of New York. Not in a matter of speaking, yes. Almo says, how about in terms of good-lookingness? Is a good-looking bunch. Well, you know, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But I would say, from my own personal opinion, there's a wider spectrum of physical attractiveness here than other countries. So yeah, there's a wider spectrum of physical attractiveness here than, say, in Denmark. Denmark is where I saw people more towards the higher end of the spectrum of physical attractiveness. It's one of the few countries where I saw, wow, like a lot of people were beautiful. Here, of course, you have all sorts and kinds. Oh, look at this. This is a stunning work of art. Bill says, you sold me on visiting Munich outside Oktoberfest. Hey, Bill, I'm so glad. Tim says, greetings for Chicago. Munich looks like a really nice day. Yeah, it is. Perfect Dark says, I miss peace like this. They do not lock bikes? Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yeah, most bikes are locked up. There's railings here. Some bikes, they decided to risk it and just locked up the gears. The spokes on the wheel. This area also reminds me a lot of Helsinki in terms of the look. Wow, this building really gorgeous. Joe asked about transit in Munich. You don't really need it if you're visiting most of the tourist sites because everything is relatively within walking distance. If you're comfortable walking generally up to 30 minutes maximum, you'll reach most sites. However, the train is very efficient. I've only taken so far the S-Bahn and the U-Bahn. I have not taken trams nor buses. And they are very efficient. They pass very frequently. It's very easy to catch them between location and location. So if you don't want to walk, you can save a lot of time taking. For a week pass within the main area of Munich, unlimited, it's costing me, or not a week, 6 days. This is not even a week. It's costing me 70 euro. So nearly 46 euro. Crazy expensive. Way more expensive than most other metro passes that I've been considering. Is there a better area to stay in when visiting Munich? No, stay in the old town. I would recommend that, or just outside of it. I will be posting where I'm staying at for a review of the hotel. This is a wonderful way to begin Mother's Day. It really is. This church is nice. I think it's closed. Janet says, is the hotel comfy? Yes, it is. You'll be learning more about it soon. It is comfy, it is nice, it is cozy. I had a great stay so far. Excuse me. Whew. I think it's beer time. Whew. Perfect Dark it says it seems so beautiful here, like a walking museum. And Inspire Life earlier asked, what do you think about the architecture of the city? It's stunning. I am very impressed at how they mix the old with the new here in Munich. Because Munich was nearly completely destroyed due to the Second World War and the bombings of the American Air Force as they were trying to stop the means of the production of the German war machine. And they were largely successful in that, hence why we won the war. But a victim was Munich. And somehow they managed to keep the essence. Oh, the church was open from the front. Oh, I'll cross the street again before I go further into the park. Look at this. Oh no, I think they're having a mass, so never mind. Joe says, are you yawning? Are we boring you, Ariel? No, it's just so relaxing. I need a little bit of coffee, maybe. I'm from New York City, as many of you already know, of course. And I'm used to such a high energy of pace of life. And sometimes when I come to these other cities, I feel a lot more lethargic than usual. And the reason for that is because I'm not used to a slower pace. And sometimes I just need to get used to it again. When I was traveling in Europe for 4 months last year, I generally went to slower paced cities like Munich. And it was nice. I had to get used to the New York energy when coming back. It was quite intense. So it is two different types of energy. Paris is more like New York now. Paris is a very high energy city as well. So, let me know if you've gone through the same thing. Chris says, I'm at the Church of YouTube this morning. I'm so glad you're at the Church of YouTube. All right, let's explore. G says, it's too quiet here. You know, it takes getting used to. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. It's just just don't blame yourself if you're a big city person coming to these smaller European cities, or sometimes quieter European cities. Some of them are pretty damn big, but they're still pretty quiet. A lot of parts of the US is like this as well. So New York is quite an anomaly in North America, along with Mexico City. And then in Europe, you have London, Paris, are very high energy cities. Rome, Naples, extremely high energy. Istanbul as well. Hey, Diana says, hey Ariel, good to see you. Oh, I'm so happy to see you too. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wow. All right. MZ says, definitely, whenever I come back to California from New York, it feels like everyone's walking in slow motion. Chris says, places like Rome, Paris, and New York are also too crowded. I guess I'm a slow traveler now. So yeah, New York is not normal. New York, Paris, London, Rome, Istanbul, Mexico City. Let me know. There's definitely other parts in Asia. I can imagine Tokyo and Hong Kong and Seoul are like this. India as well. But I would say the majority of cities around the world are not like it. Especially in Europe. Not many cities are that high energy. That high energy is almost very unique. And I think it's sometimes if you grew up in that environment, you do have to take a break, because you can get a little bit too desensitized to the high levels of stress that to you it just feels like normal. To me, it feels normal to be in that high energy state all the time. And I come here and I feel drained, and it's because of that. And I think you have to embrace the relaxation of slower living when you can, if you're from a big city, or if you've been living in a big city for a few years or so. Because the downside of such a high energy city is that it drains you. It's almost like a drug. You end up taking that drug and you feel that jolt of energy, like caffeine. You get that jolt of energy, but then comes the crash when you no longer have the caffeine. Same thing, the moment you leave New York in a high energy city comes the crash. And you might think, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm sad. Oh, I'm nostalgic. Oh, I miss home. You might think, or you might have all these feelings thinking that you aren't really feeling well. But I would say stick there for a few more days. And we're still in the city. Imagine going to the countryside, or going to a very slow area of Europe, for example, like parts of Ireland, very slow living. Give it a shot for a few days. It's not you. It's the city. It's that drug that you were on that entire time. And now you're seeing the true pace of life. Because the city is an anomaly. This, or further out in the countrysides, that's reality. We don't need to live fast all the time, and we shouldn't live fast all the time, because ultimately it'll kill you and drain you, and you won't enjoy the finer moments of life. Susie says, that's why it's such a relief for me to come back home in my Brooklyn apartment. Brooklyn is very high energy. Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, they're all high energy. I get what you're saying, but Manhattan is like very high. Manhattan is like 12. And Brooklyn is like 11 out there. Inspire Life says, ah, yes, wise words. I love that there's porta potties everywhere and they are accessible by anyone, which is nice. Joshua says, love your channel. Great work, man. Thank you so much, Joshua. I appreciate you. Yeah, you were looking at the German museum. Ooh, Maureen, yes. I might visit it. Hopefully museums don't close too early. I may have some time. Wow. German engineering at its finest. Look at this. Bill says, Buenos Aires is also high-paced. Yeah, I can imagine Sao Paulo, Buenos Aires, maybe Bogota as well, probably very high-paced. Budapest is, though, more relaxed as Hyde. Yeah, I felt the same in Budapest, a lot more relaxed. Joe says, oh, you're doing the traveling for me. Oh, I'm glad I could do the travel for you, Joe. Looks like beer. Oh yeah. This is just a river of beer. Munich is overflowing in beer. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have it. Beautiful green with chlorophyll, chloride. Oh no, the water doesn't seem as clean. I'm not sure why. Why is this water so green? I want to go on that island. How can we get there? Maureen says this part of Ishar is now rehabilitated. Why is this live video so comforting? Perfect. Dark. Well, that's what you think now. Perfect dark. Wait until the real drama of this live video begins. No, yeah, it's relaxing. It's the beauty of travel. The beauty of travel is relaxing. Someone earlier asked me, it must feel amazing to travel. It must feel so beautiful. I would say, yes, it does feel amazing to travel. I would warn against, though, over-romanticizing travel. Don't over-romanticize it. Because if you do, and the moment you start traveling, you might be seriously disappointed. Travel, you're gonna encounter the same issues that you encounter at your own home. You're gonna be met with a whole host of different challenges than what you're used to at home. Ultimately, travel is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. One of those most beautiful things, and the most beautiful memories have come from travel, 100%. But remember to not overly romanticize it. Travel is just like hanging out in your nearest city. There's challenges, there's dramas. You're still there. If you want to escape your own life and you want to escape who you are, you're still there when you travel. But it can also be a beautifully rewarding moment filled with new learnings. You learn more about how you are bettering in your life. Like, you find new ways to live better in your own life as well. And you might meet new friends on the way, which is amazing. Rainette says, this is my way of traveling. I'm glad I can show you the world. Maureen says, everywhere you go, there you are. So one warning that an amazing creator like Walter from Walter's World says, and also Rick Steves. So I'm not going to zoom in, of course, but people do here, it's socially, culturally, and legally acceptable to be nude. At least in this, like in these parks. Or at least by the water if you're tanning. Let me know the extent of the law. I'm not entirely sure, but it is normal. So if you're coming here and you're not used to that, you're warned. And if you see me moving the camera, you'll know why. But there in the distance, I see someone in the nude. Hey, Raina says, can you do a picture with the water? I have a meditation app that sounds like water, says DMC. That is a good thing to have. Yes. Oh, yes. Maureen says, yes, Germany's not uptight about nudity. Yep. It says dangerous swimming in the weir is prohibited. The water level in the riverbed can suddenly rise sharply due to automatically controlled weir systems or power plants. Don't be weird and go into the weir. That's what they're saying. Joe says, this sounds making me go to the bathroom. Oh yes, you and I both, Joe. You and I both. DMC says, warning, this video might make you want to go to the bathroom. Oh yeah, with these soothing sounds of water. Ooh, beer garden. Why is it Sunday? The only sunny day in Munich. It had to be Sunday. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know how much I've suffered. I've come to the capital of beer, and every beer garden has been closed due to all the immense amounts of rain. And now the only sunny day I've had in this entire week in Munich is a Sunday, where everything's closed anyway. This is a military complex. There's barbed wire. Not sure why. Or maybe it's a power plant. Mika says the water of the Isar is quite clean. People swim in the summertime. Not where Ariel is now, but a little bit further down. Yeah. Thank you so much for letting us know, Mika. Almo says maybe booze on Monday. I think I might have to. I might need to partake in liter beers on Monday. But here's the beer garden that we'll otherwise be going into and sharing with all of you the wonders of beer. But no, it's Sunday. We have to do the Volksvolk. Germany said, no beer for you, walking it is. Exercise and fitness. Wow. What is this? Susie says there are beer gardens in Bushwick. they aren't the same. Let me know, is there any big one? I haven't been to any of the beer gardens in Bushwick. There's one in Astoria, which is the oldest one. There's one in Steinway, Queens as well. Wow. Nebul says goodbye, Ariel. No, Nebul, don't go. Thank you so much for watching, Nebul. I appreciate you. Grin says, maybe you can smell the swimming pool. Yeah, I definitely smell the swimming pool. So a few people just said that this is a swimming pool complex nowadays. And that's great to hear. I definitely smell the sodium fluoride filled water. There's a whole city tagged up like this. That's live from Monkey Brain. Barely, no. More graffiti here because we're kind of on a boardwalk, and I don't think police heavily traffic it or keep an eye on it. So there's almost no graffiti in the old town. Debbie says chlorine. Oh yes, I smell chlorine. Heretic says, have you met any of your fans, any viewers? Yeah, one viewer saw me here in Munich thus far. In Paris, no one saw me in Paris. Paris has been like, I think, the only city where no one has ever spotted me. I barely have any French viewers. That might be the reason. Oh, this place is pumping. How do we cross? This is like a highway. Or another major road, I mean. Sharon says, I know you don't see a lot of homeless since it's a major city. They must have a good mental health system. I assume so. I think in Germany they have very strict laws against sleeping on the street. So I don't think you can legally sleep on the street here. In the US, there's no what we call vagrancy laws. So in some of these European countries, it is illegal to be a vagrant, meaning you can't hang out as if it were your home on the street. And you could be arrested. I think you could be fined. Or if you're mentally ill, you might be institutionalized. So that seems to be the case in Germany as well. That's the case in the UK. I often saw police officers stop people sleeping on the street. And then in Germany, I saw so far one incident where I saw police officers stopping two men just hanging out on the street. They appeared to be homeless. And they seem to have escorted them away. So in the US, we don't have such laws. And hence why you can legally stay on the street unless if you're being a public nuisance. All right, let me get to this side of the street. It looks like more stuff is happening here. Grin says there's also a lot of homes for the homeless. Ah, interesting. Thank you. Susie says they probably have a good safety net system. Yeah, it seems to be the case as well. Are you going back to Chicago anytime soon? Hey, Nikki, how you doing? I'm not sure. I don't think so. While the few people I met in Chicago were lovely people, I wasn't too impressed by the city. The architecture is stunning in the downtown. Probably one of the more unique skylines I've seen in my travels, and definitely gorgeous skyscrapers. One of the more beautiful historic skyscrapers I've seen in my life. But I wasn't too impressed by the city. I didn't find too much fun hanging out. There was not much to do from what I encountered. The baseball game though was nice. So here in Germany, you can't really jaywalk. Let's see if these gentlemen cross the street now. See, most people don't jaywalk. Christine says there used to be more Reagan-State laws in the U.S. They were famously enforced by Giuliani. Ah, interesting.
Go.
Joe says, what country have you not visited that is on your bucket list? So Joe has mentioned that my passport probably is full. And another reason it's not that full is because almost all the countries I visited is within the European Union. There's more countries within the European Union that I want to visit, like Hungary. I want to go see Czech Republic again. I'd love to see Norway at some point. I don't think Norway's a part of the EU, but I would love to see that. I'd love to go to Austria, to Switzerland, Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Dubai, many other places. Thomas says Estonia. You know, I visited Estonia, Thomas, when I was doing live videos. Estonia is the only place where I got 0 viewers ever in my entire career of live streaming on Urbanist, I got 0 viewers when I did my live stream walk through the old town of Estonia. The old town is gorgeous, lots of history within the old town, but once I left the old town, there was not much more. So I think I already got my fill of Estonia. And I'm not sure if that live video still could be found, but it was a nice walk for me weirdly doing it alone. Ooh, beef, burgers, steak, and shake. What? Beef crew. Ooh, we found the Five Guys of Germany. Got a cheeseburger, $10.50 for 200 grams. Pretty much in line with Five Guys or Shake Shack. We got a cheese explosion one. Look at that, with manchego and like 5 other cheeses. And nacho cheese as well. We got with bacon beef. Ooh, interesting. We got one with avocado. And we have a fried chicken sandwich as well. So Estonia, I would recommend, for people asking me, I would recommend Tallinn specifically as a day trip from Helsinki. Taking the ferry is awesome. It's a quick ferry. It's like 2 hours or something like that, or a little bit less. Highly recommend it. Let's see, is there anything down here? I don't see much down here. Debbie and Mika send both stars. Hey, thank you so much, Debbie and Mika. Appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna cross the street. Wow, look at this old school theater. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that old theater. Wow. What is that? Have you had avocado toast in Munich yet? No, not yet. Though you can find them, yes. They are available in Munich. Wow, this is a very old style movie theater. That theater looks so cool. The first theater was right there, right in front of the first door. So the rooms might be tiny. And then the other thing is, oh, that beautiful smell of popcorn. It looked like one of those old style neighborhood theaters that you would see in the US. Queens used to have a few of them, like in Steinway Street. in Astoria, there was a tiny little theater like that. Ooh, makes me want to go in. The only downside here in Germany, if you like to sometimes go to the movies when you're traveling, which I do on occasion, is all the movies are in German. 80% of the films shown in Germany are in German, dubbed in German, unlike in, say, France, where they usually show the original language of the film of its origin. Joe says Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah, they were showing that. I think they probably show it later at night. Lots of kids there, so I assume they're all seeing Guardians of the Galaxy or Super Mario, one of those two. Joe says, yeah, I remember the old movie theater in Astoria, yeah. There was one in Jackson Heights as well on 82nd Street. There was one a little bit further into Corona, Queens, which I never went to personally. Higher prices in Munich compared to Paris. More expensive. Munich is close to New York in terms of its prices. Though I have seen that it is possible to spend less money if you go to a few of the bakery shops to buy sandwiches. They'll be less expensive. Actually, it's less expensive in New York, but more expensive in Paris. So I'll put Paris. Well, actually, let's do a little bit bigger spectrum. From lowest would be Rome and many parts of Italy, Paris, and many parts of France. Then after that, we would have about London. Right after London, very close is Munich. After that is New York and many parts of the US, Seattle, Chicago, around the same line of prices. And then all the way at the further end of the spectrum, which the highest prices I've encountered is Denmark. Thomas says, thought London was overpriced. You'll be surprised. Oh, now we are in the Dutch Museum. I mean, sorry, the German Museum. Heretics asked, so would I ever do videos about how to explore cities? Let me know. Should I do more videos about my how to explore cities? I have a video that goes over how I how I book airlines and lodging. And I break down Airbnbs. So search that video, how I travel to cities. And then packing. You can ask me any questions on the live videos. Happy to answer them. But let me know if you want me a more specific video of what to pack. Hi, it says Balkan music. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Robert says, do you check bags? If it's winter time and I'm traveling for more than a month, yes. Or if I'm going to a cold area and I'm traveling for more than a month, yes. If it's less than a month, I do my best to do carry-on only. If it's very heavy winter, then I might have no other choice. But otherwise, I can generally do carry-on for less than a month. Susie says, well, hopefully you don't get lost and cry like I would. No, I think I'll be okay, Susie. Sorry to hear that would happen. Don't worry, a lot of these cities, you can never get too lost. The city's not that big in area. It's fairly easy to navigate. You can see the important markers. You can see the important markers, which is the huge onion-shaped towers, dome towers that you see from Frankenkirk, right in the old town. Spencer says, I would love a compilation video of all the hotels you stayed at. Yeah, you can find a few of them. Go on YouTube and search Urbanist hotels or Urbanist lodging. And you'll find, at least from my Greece and Rome trip, and I think from my UK trip as well. And I think Ireland, I also made a compilation. Toilet brush salesman says, can you show us what's inside your bag right now? Sure. So I'm carrying my jacket that I just was wearing in the beginning of this broadcast. I have a book about the secrets of Munich. I have my glasses right here because I'm wearing my sunglasses, so I switched them. I have prescription for both. I have a huge power bank, which this one can charge for up to about 6 to 7 full charges, maybe a little bit more. Full iPhone charges, and they charge very fast because the wattage is pretty high. This is the Anchor. Not sure exactly the model. There we go. Power Core 3 Elite. The Power Core 3 Elite Anchor. This is the best one I've had so far. And it's USB-C, so it charges very quick. I have iPhone cable in there, and then I have a little notepad. I have my iPhone case for the iPhone that I'm using right now. And basically that's it. And sometimes I carry some Advil and some allergy medicine just in case. Sometimes it depends on the country. Some Pepto-Bismol, a few of them, just in case. Joe says, I feel like a cop looking at your back. I love your live videos. I love your color purple. Oh yes. Kay says we're a noisy lot. Susie says no oregano was found. No, it's illegal here in Germany. Heretic says, is this the only bag you use? I have a book bag with me, but I barely use it unless if it's raining a lot and I'm doing a longer day trip. So not so much. It's fascinating seeing the zodiac here. This is what's called a cross body bag. It is a bit smaller than, there's other cross body bags that tend to be a bit longer. And this one I found randomly in Aix, France, the south of France. I bought it very impulsively because I was tired of carrying a backpack, and I can't believe I did not do that sooner. I would always wear a backpack for the first 6 years of doing Urbanist. If you see my live videos, you always see me with the backpack. And then finally, I ended up finding out, oh, my gimbal can fit in here? And it's because the gimbals are now smaller too. Hey, like a Americano, please. nice. So we are right now at the Museum Cafe of the Deutsch Museum, which is the German museum. Do let me know what is inside the German museum. I heard many people said that it is indeed worth it, and museums on Sundays are very cheap. I think a lot of them are €1 or very significantly cheaper than the normal price. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of families all around as well. And this place actually had an espresso machine, which is nice. So here we have a coffee, a nice Americano. Toilet Brush Salesman says, Ariel, I was kind of half joking about the bag tour, but I appreciate the impromptu bag show and tell. Hey, thank you so much for the £5. I appreciate that, Toilet Brush Salesman. Thank you so much for sponsoring this coffee. Right here. Wendy says beer. Yeah, they had beer. I might partake in the beer a little bit later. But yeah, here's a good coffee. They give a little biscotti, which is nice. Dipped in. The biscotti is sweet. Wow. Cheers, everyone. Almo says there's history here. That's cool. Ever saw a Bresler ice cream? What are you referring to? And Matt says Germany is another country powered by coffee. It's primarily known for its high quality beer, but Germans drinks about 160 liters of coffee per year. More coffee than wine. Interesting. Not the best. Kay says an ashtray on the table. You don't see that often. No, you don't. So yeah, not quite the best coffee. It has a little bit of a clean taste to it. I'm not sure if it's because they cleaned their machine or it's because of the coffee beans. I think it's the coffee beans. It's just sometimes some coffee beans have this kind of very, I would say like soapy. To me, it tastes soapy. I'm not sure why some coffee beans are like that. Thomas says, was it too bitter? Bitter? Bitter means like please, right? But no, it's not too bitter. No, not bitter. It has it's very clean acidity to it. I don't encounter it too often, luckily. I encounter it sometimes when going to like big events where they have like very cheap coffee that they make on the espresso machines. That's when I sometimes encounter it. Or like very big commercial brands. Oh, Marine says beta also means yes. Is there any sponsored content for this fine watch? Hey, thank you. Yeah, I am working with Bulova for a long time, throughout the year. So you'll be seeing a lot more videos about Bulova and history of these watches. I gotta film one in Germany. I gotta find if there's some history about watches here in Germany. But I have 2 of them that I've done in Paris, so stay tuned for that. And Ron says, does it taste like WD-40? Kind of. Wendy says, should have gotten instant coffee. Nicole says it's generally hard to find good coffee in Germany. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, there's not that much specialty coffee here. And Wendy says, what time is it? I'm not sure. This time is incorrect. So right now I have about 3:30, 3:25. That's wrong. Chris says, is it easy to find purified water? Or is it easy to find spring water? Yes. Germany, I think they have such tough regulations on water that you can't really find purified water. I haven't seen Nestle here, for example. So almost everything you find is natural spring water or mountain water or glacier water, but it's natural water. Hey, Teresa says, I sent Ariel a PayPal. Thank you so much, Teresa. I appreciate that PayPal. Thank you so much. Teresa also asked, what was the church, the big one I visited yesterday? I couldn't find the name. If anyone can let me know the name of the big church right in front of Odeonsplatz. What was the name of that big church with the huge dome right in front of Odeonsplatz here in Germany? Highly recommend visiting that church. And Debbie says, Bitteschön means my pleasure. Thank you. How do I say excuse me in German? That's one word I did not learn yet. But look at this. Look at this cool clock. Wow. A barometer. Barometer. MZ says, not a fan of Nestle water. Yeah, unfortunately France has a lot of Nestle water in their bakeries and stores, though Evian is as popular. And look, here's another bridge where people leave their locks, but someone left a very old school lock here. I'm not sure how long that lock has been there, maybe for decades. Starstruck lovers coming here when they were very young back in the 1950s, still in love today in their elderly late age. If you're curious about the atmospheric pressure, there it was, says Robert. Yep, there it was. Oop, there it is. Yep. So it was super cold earlier today, and now it's much warmer. So do layer up when visiting Munich in May. Joe says the video of the Boulevard headquarters was awesome. I'm so glad you enjoyed that video. You'll be seeing a video about the watch that won the war, and another video about how the Pompidou was inspired by the Accutron watch. You'll be learning about those soon. Mika says, happy the weather changed. Yeah, it's good. Though I'm very hot with this sweater. This is a wool sweater meant for winter. And earlier in the day, I was nice and cozy. Now I'm too warm. Aren says, Guten Tag. Thank you so much. Guten Tag. Aren. If you notice where the garbage is, they put in these huge canisters that we don't have in New York City. I'm not sure why. How do you like the cars in Munich? I haven't paid too much attention to them. Ooh, another cafe. This one's more traditional cafe right over here. So there we have a more traditional cafe. Or the flags that represent the plaza. Well, I'm not sure, but they appear to be flags of different countries. This appears to be some type of office complex right over here. Joe says, what are the rents in Munich? Ooh, I don't know, but back in Thursday, a lovely viewer by the name of Lucian came and said hi, brought a beer for me to try, which that beer was amazing. And he said that the rents are very high compared to the rest of Germany. So it is tough renting here. And I would assume they're more in line with New York City prices. So we just did a huge roundabout basically around Isator. That's where we started, Istator, around there. Oh, we started in the other neighborhood, walked to Isator, the gates, and walked all around. Now we're very close to the gates, so I'll show you just a little bit more around here before I bid all of you adieu. Oh, I just came across the restaurant I came to the other day. This place is very good. Highly recommend it. I'll post the video again if people want to see. But here I tried a good Wiener Schnitzel. And I think in 2 hours, we probably have reached 2 hours and 20 minutes, almost with no breaks, aside from the pastries and the coffee. I think we have gotten to about 6 miles, a little bit more than 6 miles. Wendy says, can you please go for another 5 hours? Today I'm a bit tired. I'm a bit tired, so today, no, I won't be going for now it's 2 hours, so a 7-hour walk. These weather changes got me through the ringer, ladies and gentlemen. It's hot. It's been humid and warm to very cold and bitter chill because of the humidity. From morning to midday to night, it has been a roller coaster ride of all the weather and then lots of rain. So it's been intense. We'd be going to the BMW museum. I don't think so. I haven't heard too many good things about it, unless if you're super into cars, which I'm not. And then museums here, unfortunately, don't seem too camera friendly, so I wouldn't be too optimistic of sharing a nice live video from a museum. As I mentioned here, filming is a bit strict in Germany, which kind of sucks. So I don't have as much freedom as I do, say, in Italy when it comes to museums or parts of America. Are there a lot of electric cars in Germany? Yeah, I've noticed so many electric cars. Here we have one passing right now. No, that's, never mind, that's combustion engine. But there's been a lot of electric cars here in general. You can barely hear them. They only have that slight hissing sound. Sounds like a lot of Mini Coopers. Oh yeah, it does sound like a lot of Mini Coopers. I love Mini Coopers personally, but there's a lot of German vehicles here as well, which is nice. Which city is your favorite on your trip so far? So I've only been to 2 cities, Paris and Munich. I will forever love Paris. Paris just has such a strong density of history and stories and food and interesting things to see. I do love Munich though. It is a wonderful place to visit. There's also a lot of cool things to see and do and enjoy. So I would wholeheartedly recommend coming to Munich a week. A week will be a very nice long trip where you can enjoy Neuschwanstein, the fairy tale castle that we saw. and enjoy more of the other cities nearby, like Salzburg, which I haven't been to yet, but I'm optimistic is very interesting. Thomas says Ariel gets to put the Latin in Latin Quarter. Indeed. Hey, Meta says Germany has a huge power supply problem. Yeah, they do. Unfortunately, America has also let its energy industry pass, which has been the shame. So right here, we've gone back to the gates. We're gonna storm the gates one last time. I hope you enjoyed this trip to Munich. This is my last official live video from Munich, from Germany, for this trip. You'll see me back in New York for an entire adventure for the New York City waterways in June. However, I won't be doing it on my channel. You'll be seeing that on Classic Harbor Line. It's because they're hiring me to host the live streams for a lot of tours that they're doing all around the New York City waterways. We're gonna go deep into parts of Staten Island, into the coasts of New Jersey, up the Hudson, around the canals of Gowanus and Newton Creek. Maybe we'll see some of that. We'll learn about the industrial history and past of all those places. I'll be announcing the schedule very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. And I'm so excited to do that. Maybe I'll be able to multi-stream to my own Facebook, Urbanist Live Facebook. So that might be a possibility. And I do recommend Munich. Munich is an awesome city. It has so much to offer. I had a blast. I recommend anyone who has the chance to visit. It is truly a pleasure. And great beer, great food, great people, great sights, lots of history that I only covered the cusp of it, mostly covered the World War II history here, but there's so much here more to learn. So I highly recommend coming here if you can. Do budget it for it because it's a bit more expensive than a Paris or Italy, but I think it's worth it. And Kay says, thank you so much for the trip. Matt says, well, everyone, I have to go catch up Germany lives. Matt, I appreciate you tuning in as well, leaving extra tips and tricks, history details. Will you do a saunter of Staten Island? Let me know where I could do a saunter of Staten Island. Staten Island doesn't have too many places to saunter in, unfortunately, which is the case. Almo says, much appreciated. I appreciate you, Almo. Thank you, Almo, for tuning in. And Alan says, adiós, hasta luego, gracias por viendo estas emisiones. Para todo el mundo viendo en español, voy a hacer una serie de emisiones en colaboración con una compañía de barcos que se llama Classic Harbor Line. ¿Estás seguro a seguir ese canal en YouTube para ver mis emisiones en junio? Porque ellos están contratando para hacer estos videos en vivos. So do follow me in Classic Harbor Line. Isabel says, a few more stars. I love your vlogs. You put history and travel together. My pleasure. My pleasure. Now we're very close to Marienplatz. It's just right there around the corner in essence. And let me see. You strolled through my old stomping ground, says Maureen. Hey, Marie, my pleasure. Bitte. Bitte schön. Bitte schön. Ida says, thank you so much for being here in Munich. Showed us so much with the calm, exclamations, great spots. Wow. Thank you so much, everyone, for the love. I got say bye slower. Moving forward. I appreciate that. Kay says, Isabel said 200 stars. And if you are a mega urbanist, you'll be seeing a postcard either from here, from Paris, or from here in Munich, or the nearby countryside which I visited. However, I did buy an excessive amount of postcards. So in June, I'll be doing again, choose your own country postcard. And if I have that country available, I'll send it to you from New York, that postcard. So feel free to become a mega urbanist. There's one bonus video at least, which is the Airbnb tour a little bit insight of Airbnbs in Paris. And Victoria says, many thanks. My pleasure. Now I gotta find some beer. Yippee postcard, says Kay. Many thanks for the live stream, says Victoria. Everyone, guten Tag, Danke schön. Danke schön for watching these live streams. I hope you enjoyed it. Everyone, keep being awesome. And always, always keep on exploring. Auf Wiedersehen, everyone. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.